Hello, Athens. This is Nan Michael. Welcome to Athens Kaleidoscope. We're glad to have our co-producer present today, Jane Penwell. And I want to start off with a view of what I came to see after the library's petting zoo of musical instruments.
Petting zoo of musical instruments.
It was at 6:30 and we got out at 7:30, and I started to drive away and glanced up at the sky and stopped my car and got out and got a photo of it. So here's a beautiful, look at that.
You know, they were saying, I don't know, this has been several weeks ago, that there was going to be a strawberry moon. Did you hear that?
Was that the strawberry moon?
Well, no, that's the sun. But
how do you know?
Well, it says the sun right there.
I said it.
Oh, you said it. Well,
I might have been wrong. It might have been the strawberry moon.
It might have been. It looks like a strawberry moon, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it looks what I think the strawberry moon would look like. I don't know.
Well, I declare. We'll have to look into that and let people know next time.
Well, wonders never cease. I like the looks of
the sun or the strawberry moon, one.
Or perhaps it's a whole new planet of some sort. Who knows?
I doubt that. I doubt that.
Yeah, I do too. But, you know, I thought I'd just toss that in just in case.
Well, I had been coming from the petting zoo of musical instruments with Hillary Burham and her son and a couple of other musicians. And this is a little clip. I did a whole hour on the event at the library, at the Athens Public Library. But I got just a little clip to share with Kaleidoscope as folks were warming up for the event.
Well, why did they call it, I got to find out this out before we do this, why do they call it a petting zoo? Because
kids were able to touch, even try to play a number of different instruments.
Oh.
And they had one, I think it was a banjo made out of a cigar box. What do you mean? Did you ever see one?
Yeah. I'm from West Virginia. Of course I've seen one.
Well, they even had an accordion and a bass. And the kids just, and they made bazookas also. So it was quite a show.
By the way, not only have I seen a banjo made out of a cigar box, I can play a comb.
At home. A comb?
A comb, yeah. I can play a comb.
Okay, I'll bring in information about the strawberry moon, and next time you bring in your comb. Yeah, she won't sing Mickey Mouse, but she'll play a comb, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Listen, I have gotten free drinks in bars in West Virginia playing my comb. I want you to know that.
Well, I want you to tell me what a swim-in bar was. I have no idea.
Swim up, not in. Swim up.
A swim-up bar.
Yes. Swim into the bar. You're swimming in the pool. And you glance over, and you see a bar. And underneath that bar, in the swimming pool, are bar stools. So you swim up there and sit in the water on a bar stool and order your drink.
And where have you carried your money so you can pay for the drink?
You're staying at the hotel, so you charge it to your room.
Oh.
If you're not staying at the hotel, I don't know what you do, frankly. But
la-di-da, la-di-da.
Oh, that's a lot of fun.
Okay, we're going to see a little, I don't know what he's picking, but
you said it was going to be the petting zoo of instruments at the library.
Well, that's what it's going to be, but I don't know what Burhan's son is playing. You can tell me when you see it.
Oh, yeah, I will.
You waited too long to come home. Now your daddy don't need you no more. Too long. You don't belong here anymore. So stop that knocking at my door. Well, you left me, sweet mama, for no good reason at all. And now there's another mule kicking your same old stall. Too long. You waited too long to come home. Now your daddy don't need you no more. Okay.
Well, while we were looking at the moon or the sun or whatever, the CEO of Public Access corrected me. He told me that I didn't mean a bazooka. I mean a kazoo, is that it?
A kazoo, yeah.
A kazoo. Okay, and Miss Know-It-All here says that what Hillary's son was playing was a...
It's either, there were two guys playing, and one was playing a guitar, and one was playing a bass. I don't know which one of those guys was Hillary's son.
Oh, you don't? The one in the hat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the
Guitar.
one with the guitar.
Guitar.
Okay. All right.
So now we've got that settled.
Yes. Now, I have to apologize. I went through the Week, which is my main source of tidbits, and clipped out the nice little articles and put them in a big brown envelope, and brought the wrong envelope here with them. So
I love it.
I have to do from memory a couple of things.
Okay.
One, they have discovered something chemical in opossums that are anti-snake bites.
Really?
It's an antitoxin, and they're not sure, maybe all kind of bites. I mean, they just absolutely, they knew for years that possums were immune to snake bites, but it seems like they were a little slow to test why. But anyway, they tested why, and they know now. So
that's why we have those ugly old possums. We can't get rid of them. Even a rattlesnake can't get rid of a possum, evidently. Have you ever seen a mother possum carrying the babies up over her back?
not face to face, but I've seen pictures.
I have. I actually have. And this is so strange. In my yard, another place that I live, not here, I drove in. We had this big tree, and you could drive around it this way or drive around it that way to get into the garage. And I drove around this way and stopped my car, and it was a summer evening, probably about 10 o'clock, so it was pretty dark. But I saw eye shine, you know, from the car lights. So I knew there was something in the yard, but I thought it was a raccoon because we frequently had raccoons. So I got out and went up on the porch and turned the light on, and it was a mother possum, and she was like, you know, and she had the babies. It was amazing. I never thought I'd see such a thing. And then I turned the light off, and of course she scurried away, and that was the end of that. But another thing, I was surprised. I don't know why, but I thought possums were bigger than they are. They're really only about like so, maybe a foot.
And unfortunately, they're so ugly.
Oh, they're horribly ugly and nasty too.
Well, you can't say nasty because they have antitoxins in them.
Yeah, they have something we need.
We will value them in the future.
Well, you know what? If we extract enough of that, maybe we'll get rid of some possums. I don't know.
Oh,
That's
hush,
like
shut your mouth.
emu oil. Do you know about emu oil? You know what an emu is, right? It's a bird. I think South African bird.
Okay, you're waiting for me to answer, not them.
Well, everybody say yes, Jane. We know what an emu is. Well, somebody has discovered that there's marvelous healing qualities in emu oil. Now, I have no idea how you extract this from the emu, and I dread to think, you know, how we get emu oil out of an emu. But it really is, my cousin had plastic surgery, and the plastic surgeon told her where to go in her city to find the best emu oil. And rub that on your scars, and you'll be amazed at, you know, what a help it'll be.
Wow, wow.
Emu oil. So all
right,
these critters are coming in handy.
Well, another item from my memory is, just knock my socks off. They have discovered there was a 4-year research voyage in ocean waters, studying the life in the waters. And they discovered 35,000 different invisible life forms. 35,000.
How'd they discover them if they were invisible?
Well, they had, I'm sure, microscopes and all that. But there were pictures of them, and many of them are not fluorescent. They shine in the dark. And they were all very, very different. And I'm just trying to wonder about the genetics behind 35,000 different creatures in the oceans.
That's
35,000.
I know, that's amazing. That's quite a high number.
Well, they are very sensitive to heat. And also in the news was evidence of 2 massive, what are those things that go around in space and bump into you?
Comets?
No, they're like comets.
They're like comets. Asteroids?
Yes, asteroids.
Glad I could help.
Evidently, one of them was 12 miles wide.
Is that the one they landed on? Recently, I know they have landed one of those little rover things on an asteroid. And I wonder if that's the one.
No, it was 19 miles below the surface.
Oh.
19 miles. And the week or two before, I had read that they discovered another crater of an asteroid that had made 3.5 billion years ago, and the ocean had boiled for almost a year.
Oh my goodness.
Boiled the ocean. So, and the only living things that could have survived that would be those creatures that live way down near thermal openings, and they have discovered up at the North Pole also can withstand great heat. But I'm looking forward to trying to understand how 35,000 different creatures could have come to pass?
Well, think about bacteria. There's probably 35 trillion bacteria.
But not, you think, different ones?
Yes, I do think. Well, I might be exaggerating. 35 million. Yeah, I think so. I mean, when they, if you read about gut bacteria, we all have a different set of flora and fauna in our gut. And everybody all around the world, in every different place, every few miles apart, has a different, set. And it's amazing. I mean, some of this stuff really is amazing. Where'd that stuff come from, and how does it flourish in one place, in one group of people, and then 10 miles away, it's entirely different. So I'm really not amazed. I mean, I think it's interesting, 35,000, but I'm not amazed. I suppose if you went out here in the yard, and dug up some dirt, you'd probably find 35,000 different bacteria and stuff in it.
I'm not sure about that.
Me neither. I think it. That doesn't make it. I think, therefore I am. It's not, I think, therefore I'm right. I know that. But it's really kind of comforting to know that there is so much life on this earth. I think that's a wonderful thing.
Well, when I'm still curious about whether they're different organisms, whether they come from the same line, or like there's just one human being basically now. I mean,
yes.
What are we, Homo sapien? We're just one. We ended up one. They ended up 35,000. I guess they weren't as destructive as we are.
Right. I think none of the 35,000 decided that they should be the only one, and started getting rid of the rest of them. They all just
Thank goodness.
They all just live and flourish. But it is pretty amazing, and it seems like kind of the lower down on the food chain you go, the more of the creature there is, the more different creatures there are. Like there's so many different bacteria, and there's so many different viruses and all that kind of stuff. It seems like the higher up you go, the fewer there are. And I don't know. Probably because of size, partly. Because we require so much of the Earth's energy to survive,
Oh, and I forgot to add that those 35,000 teeny life forms in the ocean provide 50% of our oxygen.
Well, bless their little pea-picking hearts. Glad to hear you're there, guys. Now, I want to talk about something that's going on at Ohio University, a little closer to home. But they do have an oceanographic group studying things from Ohio University as well. But this month and into July, they're having the Space Academy. Excuse me. And this means that people are coming literally from all over the world to attend this. It's a NASA-sponsored event. And open to the public are the forums. And they are on Wednesday nights in Baker Center. I'm sorry, something flew in my nose there. And you can go, anybody can attend. They're free of charge. And real astronauts will be there talking and discussing different issues. Each forum has a different theme. And if you're interested in knowing what's going to be on the table this coming Wednesday, there on Wednesday nights, actually right after Under the Elms, if you're an Under the Elms goer, then you can go to ohio.edu. And when you get on the webpage, there's a little box that says search, and put in Space Academy. And then it'll pop up all the information about the Space Academy and tell you the times and, the places where there are things that you can attend. But every Wednesday in Baker, I think it's at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or something, they're having these big open, communities welcome, everybody come
Wow,
kind of
that's
forums.
wonderful.
I know, just to see a real live astronaut who's actually stepped on the moon, speaking of stuff, you know, he's actually had moon dust on him.
Who is that?
Well, I don't know, there's different ones coming. So I don't know, I don't know their
Yeah.
names. But I know one of the astronauts that's coming is one of the ones who was who did a moonshot.
Okay.
So that's pretty exciting.
So that they announced that at, I did attend I attended the outdoor Under the Elms concert on space.
Uh-huh.
And I have a few minutes of that until my camera went out. So maybe we can look at that
Yes.
briefly.
Big space here in Athens, Ohio.
I just set up a green chair, and if you want to go up over there, sit on it.
Somebody's going to bring me one.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the way that we sort of structured tonight's concert is to pay tribute to space exploration by first starting with music that pays tribute to actual space exploration that has happened in real life, aka the NASA program, starting with Apollo 13, which of course was a lunar expedition. And then of course that program was replaced then by the shuttle program. And so this next piece is about NASA's tribute to the shuttle program. And this actually pays tribute to one of the unfortunate instances in the history of the shuttle program, and that is the loss of the Columbia crew on February 1st, 2003. This is a piece called Encomium for the Courageous, and encomium means basically a tribute or in honor of the courageous. And while this is dedicated to that crew, the 7 astronauts who lost their lives, it's also a dedication to the entire shuttle program and the astronauts who are part of NASA, some of which will be here over the course of the next several weeks through International Space University. So next week there's a panel of 4 international astronauts, including one from NASA. There's discussions about the Hubble telescope. There's lots of really great events that are going on that Director Connolly alluded to. So this is about an actual event in space exploration history, Encomium for the Courageous.
Enjoyed that. That's one of the Under the Elms that I wasn't able to attend. I had a little kind of summer flu bug and wasn't feeling well, so I didn't go to that one. So I have later on, you'll see some of my stuff from Under the Elms as well. I went to Under the Elms last night. It was pouring down rain, so it wasn't Under the Elms. It was in the Forum Theater, which we were jam-packed. I said, this is like flying frontier air, you know, you're just smushed up in your seat. But anyway, there's some nice stuff that they did a tribute to Frank Sinatra and, you know, a collage of a lot of his famous songs. And Danny Boy, oh my God, Danny Boy. So I had to film that as an homage to my Irish ancestors.
Okay, but you also noticed some things that caught your attention in the news this week.
Well, everybody's, I'm sure. That crazy woman who was head of the NAACP and is not black, you know, says she is. And, you know, that this, as we know, Bruce Jenner has changed his sexual orientation. He's no longer a man now. He's a woman. He's declaring himself to be female and, you know, calls himself Caitlyn Jenner and so on and so forth. Well, okay, so you can do that. You can decide, I could decide, anybody could decide that you want to be the opposite sex, whatever that is. I could decide I want to be a man can decide he wants to be a woman. How do you decide you want to be another race? How's that work? You know, I just don't get it. It's just, to me, this is the strangest thing that somebody could possibly. How do you think that you, a white person with blonde hair and freckles, are all of a sudden going to decide that you're actually African American and then just work from that premise?
Well, you know, her parents, I forget how old she was, but adopted 4 black children.
Mm.
So there's probably something psychological there.
Oh, well, it's definitely, there's definitely I would say something psychological. And, you know, if she did good things for the African American community with her dedication, that's wonderful. But the fact that, what bothers me is that why couldn't she have done it as who she was? You know,
Well, she felt she was doing it who she was because she felt identified with the blacks.
well,
Self-identified, so, you know.
so to speak, yes. Well, I mean, I just think it's very odd. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand why you have, what do they call it, dysphoria? You know, you don't see things. You look in the mirror and you see something that isn't even there. That has to be the case for her. She can't look at herself in the mirror and say, I'm a black woman, because she's not, and she's obviously not.
I'm sure she says, I'm a black woman when she looks in the mirror.
I'm sure she does too. And so she sees something different in that mirror.
I don't know how she stained her skin.
Oh, well, spray on tan. Everybody can do that. I could go get a spray on tan right now. So, you know, that's one thing you can definitely spray on and keep spraying until, you know. But in her hair, she admitted to a black woman who was interviewing her, and I saw this interview on TV, so I know it really happened. She admitted that her hair was a weave, and she does it herself. So she did admit that. Because her hair
was a what?
A weave.
That means like a wig?
Well, a wig that's attached to your scalp, sewn into your scalp, kind of like.
Sewn into your scalp?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, not your scalp. What they do is they make lines of hair, I think. I've never had it done, but they take your own hair and they braid it or do something to it and make a base, and then they fasten the false hair onto that.
Oh.
So she did admit that her hair was a weave and that she did it herself.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure, because you can't see the back of your head, so I don't know how she did that. But anyway, so, you know, it's kind of pitiful, really, to me. It's sad and kind of pitiful. And she's gotten so much bad publicity and everything, all brought on by this inability to see herself as she really is, accept herself, I guess I should say, more so than see, accept herself.
Well, there has been a chasm in the family. I don't know how long she's been away from her family,
Yeah,
but they never hear from her.
And she has kids that the family has never met and so forth, I guess.
She has kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She has 2 boys, I understand. So I don't know much about her. I don't know enough about it to really speak, you know.
Yeah.
But I think I have heard that she has 2 boys. So, you know, this is just, who knows, too. Maybe there have been lots of other people, you know, who did these kind of things. She just somebody we found out about because her mother outed her on, you know, went on the news and outed her and said she is not black, no matter what she says. So, but I just find it to be, I think we've all wished we were something else. You know, like I've wished I was 5'10". You know, who knows? There's lots of things we've wished for ourselves that we don't have and can't have. So this is like an extreme wish, I guess. She wished it so much that she made it come true in her own head.
And they said, at first the NAACP said they welcome all people. Mm-hmm. And then she doesn't work there anymore. So I don't know if she quit or...
Well, I think the problem there was that she lied about who she was and what she was. If she'd gone in there and said, look, I know I'm white, you know, I recognize that, but I want to help, they'd have said, oh, good, fine, no problem. But she lied to them and misrepresented herself. And I think that's why they felt that she had to go. So, I don't know, but who knows what's going to be next? You know, we hear all this stuff now.
Well, they say these transgender, well, I saw it described as the new normal, and I can't think that, but I do know that there have been a lot of suicides by people who've had sex changes.
Well, you know, this stuff has been going on forever. We had a guy in my hometown, little old town, not even 10,000 people. We had a guy that dressed up in women's clothes. Back then, that would have been in the early 60s.
That's not transgender.
Well, I mean,
those transvestites have normal or regular sexual lives, but it's just a little quirk that they...
That was a big one in our town. That was a big old quirk where I grew up from. But this guy, I think, had he had his druthers, and had it been today, he probably would have had the operation. I mean, I think he was very, very sure that he was a woman. He did the makeup. He got arrested several times. A dress and, you know, heels and the makeup and the whole 9 yards.
But there are many transvestites that are not, I don't know what the word's not homosexual, or not transsexual or whatever. And sometimes wives have walked in on them trying on her clothes, and you know, it's quite shocking, but rarely the wife will stay with the man because she loves him and can stomach the little quirk. So I don't know, that Vanity Fair cover, he certainly came out quickly, didn't he?
Well, I think he's been, I remember years ago hearing little rumors about him.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think he's been at this for a long time. Just like the guy at my hometown, I think he probably, on the down low, you know, he dressed up in women's clothes and maybe even went out, but he didn't tell anybody and he never got caught, or if he got caught, nobody said anything. So, like you say, he kept it like a little quirk in his personality. But then it just grew bigger and bigger, and he just couldn't stand to be a man anymore. You know, it got more powerful, I think, in his life. So, and we're in a day and age where he could do that. You know, today, he can do it. There's no reason why not, you know, if you feel that strongly about it. So, I think that's an issue. And back in the early 60s when I knew this man in my hometown, oh, well, he'd just have to go, I don't know where, somewhere else. That's for sure. If he showed up, if he actually had a sex change operation and then showed up back in our town.
Well, that's one of the sad things, is that a number of them are hounded. And, well, there was with that one case not too long ago where a guy picked up a trans woman and when he found out she was transgender, he killed her.
I know, I know. Oh, that's terrible. And those things happen. That scares people. People are afraid of that. I mean, it's so beyond belief that somebody would want to do something like that I think it scares people. Some people. Not me, by the way. I don't care what you do.
Within limits.
Well, yeah, don't do anything to me. But if you want to go out in public dressed as the Lion King, it's fine with me. Go right ahead.
Well, when I said that there were a lot of suicides, it has been observed that there would be less suicides if the public were not so judgmental and rejecting.
Well, yeah. Of course.
So I guess Jenner feels that, well, when you said you wanted to talk about current events, I was thinking about apparently this family that was big into Christian pro-life. Was that Jenner? Donner?
No.
Donner? Is that,
No.
who was it? The parents admitted that they had locked their daughters' bedrooms at night to protect them from their brother.
It's the 19 Kids and Counting people. If you want to see the show, it's on. It was on TLC. I think there's still reruns on TLC. I love it. The father's name is Jim Bob. That I just thought, well, there you go, Jim Bob. But Duggar is their name.
Duggar, okay.
Yeah, and their oldest son has admitted that they use the word molested his younger sisters and a babysitter when he was about 14 or 15, or I don't know however old he was. And then the sisters, the two oldest girls, went on TV and said, yes, he did do that, but that they had forgiven him and they didn't think it was right that all this had gotten out into the public because it had all been settled in their family. They'd sent him away and he'd gotten some kind of Christian counseling and all this kind of stuff. Who knows?
They did tell a state trooper about it, but this state trooper is now in prison for...
Guess what? Molesting kids. It's not funny. I'm sorry I laughed.
For, well, it's pornography, I think.
Well, whatever it is, it has something to do with kids anyway. And, here's the thing. Nobody on the face of this earth is perfect. Nobody. There are no perfect people. So you have to expect that there's going to be things that are going to be less than perfect that people are going to do. I'm certainly sure if you heard my whole life story, you'd be amazed. Maybe not. But all of us have done things and will do things, and all human beings are human beings. To me, why should you put anybody up on a pedestal? We're all human. We're all subject to do things, and that maybe we wish we hadn't done or that aren't what we would have liked to have seen ourselves do. I expect that of everybody, myself.
Is he married?
Yes, and he has a couple kids, too. One of which is a girl. And that's what worries me. I don't know what his situation is now as far as this particular, I don't know what to call it, urge. But, yeah, he does have kids. So, when you worked in the prisons, like I did.
And I worked with sex offenders.
Mm-hmm, I did not, but I heard the other guys talking about them. And they always said, oh, they'll never change. Never. They never change. There's nothing you can do with them. That's what all the other guys, would say about it. I don't know if there is a cure or there's some kind of a therapy.
Well, you could read my book, which nobody wants to read because they don't want to deal with that topic.
Exactly. No, I don't mind reading it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I don't have any phobia about reading it. And I think, actually, as our society loosens up and we start talking more about these things, it's healthy. It's very healthy to talk about this.
Certainly to know how to protect your children.
Yeah.
Because parents will warn their children about kidnappers, but not much kidnapping actually happens, but they don't talk about sexual molestation. And they talk about strangers rather than don't let anyone.
Right, right, exactly.
So, and by the time that parents will say something to children about saying no and whatever, is the average time is 9 years old, and by that time, the majority of children have already been molested.
Mm-hmm. That's sad to think they'll be that young. But this is a reality of life, and the more we try to hide it, the more danger and destruction occur. And I think you do have to. Who wants to tell their kids such a thing? I mean, I never did want to, but you kind of anymore. It's kind of out now. People are talking about it. There's shows on TV. It's like, you know, you really do need to have a talk with your kids. My grandson, when he was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, we were walking in his neighborhood, and it was fall, and this man was in his yard raking leaves. And as we walked down the sidewalk, he put his rake up, and he said, "Hi, how are you?" And I said, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And we had a little chat. We walk away, and my grandson's like this. I said, "Well, what's the matter with you?" And he said, "You are not supposed to talk to strangers." And I said, "Well, you're right. You're not supposed to talk to strangers." But I said, more importantly than not talking to them, you want to stay away from them. And he was a long ways away from us. So.
Well, is it time to hear?
It's time to hear my selections from Under the Elms, although it's not under the elms. It's in the Forum Theater. And one of the things, as I said, you're going to hear is Danny Boy. So enjoy Athens. I think this is quite lovely.
And the lady is a tramp. Thank you. There's so many to choose from that an arranger has to narrow down their choices. So this is an arrangement. It's called A Salute to Old Blue Eyes. So in honor of the 100th anniversary of Frank Sinatra's birth, we'd like to play this medley.
That was
Goodbye.
lovely. I want to say, have we been gossiping?
No. I think when you're talking about real things, you're not gossiping. To me, gossip's making up nasty stuff and saying it.
Oh.
So, but I don't think anything we said was nasty. Hope you didn't think so either, Athens. If you did, well, I'm sorry. We'll try to do better next week. Bye-bye.